Hello, people. Another beautiful day. Yep. Your five senses work, health and strength is good. Or excellent. What? So, gamers, listen to this. Microsoft lay out terms of new Ubisoft divestment agreement to UK regulators. UK regulators at the Competition and Market Authority have published the proposed terms of Microsoft new merger deal. It says here, weeks ago, Microsoft and UK antitrust agency CMA joined forces to defeat a lengthy and costly appeals process. The reason that trillion-dollar tech giant and the UK regulators wanted to quash the appeal is simple. Microsoft wants to get the merger passed, and the CMA wants to weigh all options. Most new proposals change the original Activision merger terms so substantially that the CMA has opened a new phase 1 investigation into the deal. This new merger strategy sees Microsoft selling Activision cloud gaming streaming rights to Ubisoft, a foreign third-party publisher. Microsoft would not have control over Activision's games in the cloud. The CMA had been concerned that Microsoft would engage in anti-competitive practice in cloud gaming if it held onto streaming rights of big games like Call of Duty. It says Microsoft has offered the CMA what is called a proposed undertaking, which is essentially a game plan or a strategy that outlines Microsoft's proposed merger plan. The company has provided a series of enforceable rules and tenets in which it will follow and abide by in order to address regulatory concerns. The proposal is called the Ubisoft Divestment Agreement. This is similar in form and function to Microsoft Cloud Remedy that was rejected by the CMA. However, the terms are different. The CMA is now seeking third-party feedback on the proposed undertaking. The CMA has not decided whether or not the merger should be greenlit or not, and if no undertaking are deemed appropriate, the merger will move to a phase 2 investigation, which could take many more months before the merger is cleared. It says here, below we have a quick outline of the proposal that Microsoft offers the CMA. To address the SLC, the parties have offered to give UILs to the CMA, the proposed undertaking. The UILs aim to ensure that Ubisoft divestment agreement is fully implemented, including in relation to the following aspects. A. Ubisoft may not grant Microsoft an exclusive license to Activision games, and any such proposed license would be null and void. Ubisoft may not offer Microsoft preferential pricing nor material preferential treatment with respect to cloud streaming rights not made available to third parties. Microsoft must offer Activision games to Ubisoft at a price that is no higher than wholesale price for digital downloads and retail sales of PC and console version of the same content, whichever is lower. As a part of the merger, Microsoft will acquire Activision and be in a position to cause it to perform its obligation under the Ubisoft divestment agreement. Accordingly, this section refers to Microsoft's obligation to Ubisoft under the Ubisoft divestment agreement, regardless of whether they are incurred by Microsoft or Activision. Then it says here, D. Microsoft must provide Ubisoft with Activision games in a standard executable format sufficiently in advance to allow Ubisoft to release them on the same date as they are released on console and PC. Microsoft will ensure that the quality, content, features, and performance of any Activision games delivered to Ubisoft will be materially similar to non-streaming versions of that Activision game. Microsoft will not design PC versions of Activision games or any other version which are planned to be available on multiple cloud streaming service to be solely optimized for its own cloud streaming service. F. Microsoft must port Activision games to non-Windows OS Linux following a request from Ubisoft. Ubisoft may also request that Microsoft perform technical modification, including to ensure that Activision games supports emulators like Proton, Microsoft must carry out this work at its regular pace and at a quality and standard which is customary in the gaming industry. Microsoft can only charge Ubisoft for reasonable costs incurred for this work. Microsoft is also required to provide Ubisoft with development and porting plans for Activision games reasonably in advance. Then it says Ubisoft will compensate Microsoft for the Activision streaming rights through a one-off payment and through a market-based wholesale price mechanism, including an option that supports pricing based on usage. This will allow Ubisoft to license out the Activision streaming rights under any business model of its choosing, including to buy-to-play multi-game subscription service or any other model that may arise. And then H, Microsoft will offer technical support to Ubisoft for Activision games. It will also offer reasonable technical support for Ubisoft sub-licenses, provided these cover Microsoft reasonable cost. Yeah, that's a lot. So wait a minute, you spent $68.7 billion and sold the rights to Ubisoft just to go through this? That doesn't look like the plan that Microsoft wanted. Doesn't even look like it. It seems like Ubisoft is in full control here when it comes to the Activision rights. But there's some things here that Microsoft still has power here. Make no mistake about it. And it means that with Ubisoft getting the streaming rights, that means Call of Duty will be on Linux. Where's the let's see where it says Proton. It says here Microsoft will port Activision games to non-Windows OS meaning operating system, following a request from Ubisoft. Ubisoft may also request that Microsoft perform technical modifications, meaning modification including to ensure that Activision games support emulators like Proton. Okay, who's using Proton? Linux gamers and the Steam Deck. Yeah, Steam Deck, Linux gamers as a whole, laptop, PC, and the Steam Deck. So yeah, Call of Duty. Yeah, will be coming to the Steam Deck. Yeah, but this also takes pressure off Microsoft too. You know, because Microsoft got Windows they got Windows to deal with by itself. You know, that's $1 trillion company, so Ubisoft is like taking the load off Microsoft. But they have some power, but not all power. Microsoft still has full control in this. Okay, it says at A, B, C, D. It says, okay, A, Ubisoft may not grant Microsoft an exclusive license to the Activision games, and any such purported license would be null and void. B, Ubisoft may not offer Microsoft preferential pricing nor preferential treatment with respect to cloud streaming rights not made available to third parties. Microsoft must offer Activision games to Ubisoft at a price that is no higher than the wholesale price for digital downloads and retail sales of PC console versions of the same content. And it says in parentheses whichever is lower, close parentheses, then says as a part of the merger, Microsoft will acquire Activision and be in a position to cause it to perform its obligation under the Ubisoft divestment agreement. Accordingly, this section refers to Microsoft's obligation to Ubisoft under the Ubisoft divestment agreement, regardless of whether these are incurred by Microsoft or Activision. It says here, Microsoft must provide Ubisoft with Activision games in a standard executable format sufficiently in advance to allow Ubisoft to release them on the same date as they are released on console and PC. It says here, Microsoft will ensure that the quality, content, features, and performance of any Activision game delivered to Ubisoft will be materially similar to the non-streaming version of that Activision game. Microsoft will not design PC versions of Activision games or any other versions which are planned to be available on multiple cloud streaming service to be solely optimized for its own cloud streaming service. It seems like Microsoft is like giving away their power in this retrospect, but they really ain't. It says here, Microsoft Microsoft must port Activision games to non-Windows operating system, Linux, Apple, following a request from Ubisoft. May also request that Microsoft perform technical modifications, including to ensure that Activision games support emulators like Proton. Microsoft must carry out this work at its regular pace at a quality and standard which is customary in gaming industry. Microsoft can only charge Ubisoft for reasonable costs incurred for this work. Microsoft is also required to provide Ubisoft with development and porting plans for Activision games reasonably in advance. It says that Ubisoft will compensate Microsoft for Activision streaming rights through a one-off payment through a market-based wholesale price mechanism, including an option that supports pricing based on usage. Sounds like, kind of remind me of what Unity just did when they were charging developers for install fees. It says here, this will allow Ubisoft to license out the Activision streaming rights under any business model of its choosing. And I guess Microsoft didn't see this one coming, including buy-to-play, multi-game subscription service, or any other model that may arise. And then the last one, H, Microsoft will offer technical support. I spent $68.7 billion to offer technical support. Come on now. Microsoft will offer technical support to Ubisoft for Activision games. It will also offer reasonable technical support for Ubisoft sub-license, provide these cover Microsoft reasonable cost. Yeah, I guess Bobby Kotick was right. Ubisoft, the UK is closed for business. Makes me wonder if they should have closed the deal right away, you know? Because it seems like the CMA is trying to give Ubisoft a lot of power here, you know? Yeah. And this is all happening because why? Sony's doing all this, running to the CMA like a bunch of crybabies. Huh? They love to dish out competition. Sony loves to dish out competition, but can't take it. Yeah. But Microsoft selling it to Ubisoft? I don't know. It's still kind of shaky, you know. To me, it's like with them selling the rights, it's like Ubisoft is it's like they are the new owners of Activision right now. That's what it looks like, you know. Man, but these what's this? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Yeah. To Ubisoft? Yeah. Oh my God. But the good thing about this, Linux and Mac OS users though, they will get Call of Duty on their console, on their machines, Mac and Linux. Yeah, they will get Activision games on their hardware, you know, on their operating systems. Apple and Linux, yeah. And the Steam Deck is looking good based on this. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, little Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Or Star Trek.